Hey everybody, it's Star, the Flippin' Hippo. Thank you for joining us on our first YouTube video for the Hippo Hut. Today we wanted to talk about some beginning reseller mistakes, specifically Beanie Babies. A lot of beginning resellers, including us, we are very guilty, and we're going to tell you our story in a minute. A lot of beginning resellers are guilty of thinking certain things are worth a lot of money, and Beanie Babies excuse me, is one of those things. Now, there's two reasons why. The first is, back in the 90s, Beanie Babies were valuable. They were sought after. They were collector's items, and some of them went for a lot of money. And the second reason is twofold. First, you have people listing them on eBay for ridiculous amounts of money, and then you have social media news sites who find these listings and publish articles claiming Beanie Babies go for $10,000 on eBay. eBay seller sells Happy the Hippo for $1,500. And it's just not true. The fault with these social media news sites is they look up the listings. They don't actually look at the solds. So they're not actually looking at the comps of Beanie Babies. They're just looking up the listings. And anybody can list anything for any amount of money on eBay. That doesn't mean it has ever sold for that or it ever will. But a lot of these social media sites like to see one listing and say, oh, people are selling them for this. People buy into that and people believe it. And then if you actually go and search for Beanie Babies on eBay and you see that they're listed for $1,000 or $10,000, it's easy to buy into the hype. And then if you're over 20, you kind of can remember the 90s and how popular they were. So it's easy to fall into this trap of believing that Beanie Buddies, those are new. I meant Beanie Babies. Beanie Babies are worth money. So we're going to tell you what happened to us and what we did and how we're going to rectify it. So last year, around March, Keith started an eBay just in his name. We weren't the Hippo Hut. I wasn't even helping him at that point yet. He was just a person trying to make some extra money. So he was listing some things he had, like old video games and old collector comic book figures and stuff from around the house, and a couple of my things went too. And actually, this is a really good tip if you are a new beginner reseller. List things around the house before you ever go out and source, before you ever spend money, before you ever even try to figure out what to buy at the thrifts or the yard sales or wherever, retail arbitrage. Look around your house, find stuff you don't want anymore, and sell it. It gives you really good practice on listing and taking photographs and learning shipping and dealing with customer service and everything that you're going to encounter later on a bigger scale when you really start sourcing. I mean, that is like the number one thing you always see in every Facebook group for resellers. Advice for beginners: start with what you have around the house. So that's what we were doing. And when we sold enough of our own items, it was like a couple, that we had $20 profit, we took our first $20 to the bins. For those of you that don't know, the Goodwill bins are like the Goodwill outlet store. The things that don't sell in their retail stores go to these bins. And it's their last chance to sell before they go to like landfills. And they're literally in bins. It's bins full of crap that you get to dig through. It's not everyone's cup of tea, but it is a very good place to get really, really cheap stuff to flip, especially if you're a beginner. It sells by the pound. So if you only have $20 to start, you can get 20 pounds of clothes or 20 pounds of hard goods to flip. And it's a lot of stuff. So it's a good place to start if you have 20 bucks or 50 bucks to start. So we went there with our first 20. I took a cart and went to the clothes, and he took a cart and he went to hard goods. Well, I had been through like 3 bins of clothing, like maybe 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and he's still standing at the same bin. Now, maybe he was digging and finding good stuff, but the thing is he was in the same spot almost and hadn't moved, and he was really looking intent. I had to go see what he was up to. So I get over there. He's got Beanie Babies in the basket. Like this tall, full, bottom of the cart, just Beanie Babies. And he's digging like a fanatic, and he looks at me and his eyes are big and he's excited and he's like, I found Beanie Babies and we're not leaving here until we get all of them out of this bin. So we spent the next 20, 30 minutes going through this bin looking for all the Beanie Babies. Every time we thought we were done and went to leave, you would see peeking up through the stuff in the bottom of the bin a little tail, an ear, a snout, a tush tag, a hoof, a horn. Something would be poking out and you'd be like, ah, there's another one. And we would move something and reveal like 20. It's like, remember when you were a kid and you'd pick up a rock and there'd be all those bugs under there, just thousands of them. Yeah, we would see one tiny tail and move whatever was on top of that spot in the bin, and there'd be all these Beanie Babies. So we eventually started to move the stuff in the bin to the bins next to it. So we were virtually emptying it out so we could find all the Beanie Babies. I must add also that those of you that don't know, I have a bad back injury, and so I can't stand for long periods of time. I can't bend over, and I don't really move fluidly like a real person anymore. So I had gotten this long metal rod, and I was like leaning kind of awkwardly and poking through, and that was how I was contributing to the digging because I can't bend over. So eventually we found all the Beanie Babies, and our cart was pretty full. I mean, his cart, I had my cart with clothes, but it maybe this far from the top. And then it was full of Beanie Babies. And we were thrilled. I mean, we were paying for these by the pound, and they were in varying conditions, but we were paying by the pound. Do you realize that you're not even paying a nickel for these things? They're very small. Oh, this is Happy Hippo, and this is her baby, Mini Happy Hippo. These are my babies. These are actually, I bought them on purpose. And they're staying with me. They have found their forever home here. They are the Hippo Hut mascots. But back to the story. So they don't weigh much, and we knew we weren't going to pay much, and we still thought that Beanie Babies were worth a lot of money, so we were thrilled. So the entire drive home, I'm looking on eBay, and being a noob and dumb, I'm not looking at solds, I'm only looking at listeds. So I'm getting more and more excited, and he's driving home, and I'm in the passenger seat, and I'm looking up comps, but not really. I'm just looking up listeds because I'm new and dumb. And I'm dreaming of like, oh my gosh, I'm going to put both of my kids through college. I'm going to have tuition money for them. We're never going to have to open an eBay store. We're going to sell all these Beanie Babies, pull my kids through college, buy an island somewhere, and retire for the rest of our lives because we have thousands of dollars in our trunk of Beanie Babies. So then I made an even bigger mistake. So we get home and we have all these Beanie Babies, and I take them. I mean, there were so many of them. I laid them out all over the living room. Some were on the floor, some were on the couches, some were on the chairs. They were just everywhere. And I looked them up on eBay, just listed. And then I went to a couple of Beanie Baby collector websites. No. Big mistake, because they would have you believe that every Beanie Baby is worth thousands of dollars, and then they would also have you believe, and I did believe, unfortunately, and this is kind of embarrassing, but I bought into it. Would you believe that out of all those Beanie Babies that we brought home, every single one of them had a tag error? Every single one of them had something wrong with their tush tag or their hang tag, and it made them more valuable. How exciting is that? Every single Beanie Baby had an error. Yeah, well, we believed it. So you know what we did? We listed our Beanie Babies for $500, $1,000, $2,000, whatever. You know, sky's the limit. So a month goes by, none of them sell. And a month goes by, and we have gotten a little bit smarter and a little bit better at comping and a little bit better at doing research. And we know now that Beanie Babies are not worth a lot of money. They get listed at a lot of money. There's rumors about why that happens. We don't know. I mean, it could be noobs like us, right? Everybody keeps listing them high and everybody believes it, but a month went by and none of them sold. So we went back through and we relisted them the second month at more reasonable prices. And a couple of them sold. We had like a red dragon named Legend. He sold for $12. I remember him. He was very cute. I think he may have been my first Instagram post of an animal that found its forever home. And for those of you that follow us on Instagram, you know that's my thing. Whenever we sell a plush, I like to put them on Instagram and say they found their forever home. And I think Legend was my first one. So I remember him. He was a red dragon. And he went for like $12. And a couple of the other ones sold alone. And then, another month or so went by. And we started lotting them up. Like this group of bears, this group of dogs, this group of water animals. And a couple of those lots sold. And then it got to the point where we just really wanted rid of them. So Keith had taken a padded flat rate envelope and a pile of Beanie Babies, and he was just cramming them in, just shoving them in there until it was full, made sure it would still close, and then whatever was in there got dumped out, photographed, and listed. And that sold in like a week or two. So he did it again to get rid of them. I think he could cram like 10 in there. I can't remember. It was a pretty good amount. And he did it a second time and got rid of another large group. But then they just wouldn't move after that. They wouldn't move in singles. They wouldn't move in lots. They wouldn't move at all. So we took them all down, and I don't believe like we actually physically took them down. We let them run their course, and when they went to the unsolds, they just didn't get relisted. And we put them in grocery bags across the hall there in our storage room, and kind of forgot about them for a couple months. And then towards the end of the summer, we had 2 weekends in a row where 2 separate buyers came to our store, and each one bought like 20 stuffed animals apiece. And it kind of made me remember the Beanie Babies and how we sold them in lots, and led me to think, maybe people like to buy large amounts of plushies or stuffed animals. And so I'm thinking, what if we just put all the Beanie Babies we have left in a box and weigh them and stick them on an auction at 99 cents plus calculated shipping, and just get rid of them, and somebody somewhere is going to be happy. They're going to have a ton of Beanie Babies for 99 cents plus shipping. So that was my idea, like, I don't know, probably in October, and never happened. We just got busy. We're trying to get to 4,000 listings in our store. That is our goal. We are right over 2,000, I believe. And we're trying to raise our average price, and we're sourcing, and we're reorganizing the way we store stuff. And the Beanie Babies just kind of always get put at the bottom of the list of the to-dos because they're just not important. But then when we decided we were going to do this YouTube channel, I thought, well, let's make our very first video all about Beanie Babies. Because it's not just about us making this auction to get rid of them. It's about how they get listed at high prices and why, and how people buy into that, and how people buy into these articles about things that sell on eBay when these articles really only look at listings. And I just thought it'd be a nice thing to chat about with y'all. And then we can talk about our auction. So we're going to go over here, and I'm going to show you the Beanie Babies that we have left. Here they are, a giant pile of Beanie Babies. This is what's left. We did sell some, like I said. Most went in lots. We had probably twice this many. All right, I'm going to sort these out and count them. All right, Beanie Babies are sorted and counted. There are 52 Beanie Babies on this table. We have bears, McDonald's bear, bears, the monkey, this little bat. I think he's so cute. We have a bunch of birds, an ostrich and her baby, some cats, a spider randomly, a bull, a skunk. I think that's supposed to be a raccoon. I don't know. A horse, squirrel, giraffe, moose, elephant. We have 2 of those really cool lizards, tie-dye, and then a smaller one. I have 2 of the koala bears. More bears here. Some dogs. I've I've grouped the water animals together. This poor otter. He has seen better days. He oughter feel better. Then we have some worms and a snake. And if you put this worm like this, he looks like he has an angry eyebrow. Angry worm. Okay, so now you've got to see the Beanie Babies. What's left of them. That's whoever hasn't sold or found his forever home, that's what we've got left. So we actually, after laying them out like that and seeing that there were 52 Beanie Babies, we're kind of thinking they're going to weigh a little too much to do calculated shipping. So Keith is across the hall right now getting me a large flat rate box. And I'm going to go back over here at the other camera and we're going to see if we can't cram them all in there. Okay, so this is my large flat rate box that Keith brought me from the storage unit. We're going to try to get all of these in there. I'm going to put all the flat ones in first. See if we can get all the Beanie Babies in here. Uh-oh. Dropped the crab. I dropped my crabs. Alright. This is not looking good, guys. I don't think so. But in the spirit of being an optimist, this is not going to happen. Look. Look. I still have burrs. Alright. The flat rate is not going to happen. We are going to have to weigh this. Okay, guys. So, you saw I tried really, really, really hard to get all 52 Beanie Babies in that box. And I'm pretty good at Tetris and I'm pretty good at packing, but there's no way that, I mean, you saw they were mounted. So we're not going to get all 52 of the Beanie Babies into a flat rate. It's just not going to happen. They weigh 13 pounds. That's a lot. So, I mean, we're going to start the auction at 99 cents, which is a good price for 52 Beanie Babies, but shipping is going to be a killer. I think because they weigh 13 pounds, we're going to go ahead and list on the auction the shipping as FedEx SmartPost, which is slow, but it's affordable or more affordable. And I'll go ahead and throw the priority USPS on there as a second option for anyone that wants to pay it, I guess, and have their stuff quicker. So we are going to go ahead and get some photographs of these guys and get at least a draft up in our store, and we will have the auction go live right about the time we put this video up, so they'll go up at the same time, and I'll put the link to the auction down below. And please feel free to come over to the store and look at the auction or watch it if you want to follow it and see what happens. I think we're going to put it up for 7 days just to kind of see what kind of traffic it gets and watchers and if it gets any bids. I mean, we're hoping. Bottom line is I want all 52 of these animals to find their forever home, leave my storage room, leave our house. I want them to go bye-bye. So if we get one bid for 99 cents, fantastic. I'd like to see more, but I'm more curious about the amount of traffic and watchers we're going to get. And you guys, like I said, I'm going to put the link below. You can come and watch it too. Watch it with us and see what happens. If you enjoyed this video, do me a favor and push the like button. I would really appreciate it. If you haven't already and you would like to, please subscribe to our channel, Help Feed a Hungry Hippo. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. We are at Flippin Hippos. Until next time, you guys have a fantastic night.